Yo, what's up Tenno? It's your boy Checo Snaps back again, and today we're talking about how to level up your characters and weapons in Warframe, because let's be honest, no one wants to roll into a squad with a rank 0 pea shooter dragging the team down. So let's break down how Affinity works and how to boost it, and then the best places to farm it. Okay, first things first, let's talk about how Affinity works. So, if you kill with your Warframe's abilities, your Warframe will get 100% of the affinity gain. But if you kill with a weapon, it will split 50% to your Warframe and 50% to your weapon. Now, there is this thing in Warframe called Shared Affinity, which is active whenever you're running with a squad. So when you're running 3 weapons, each of those weapons gets 25% shared affinity from your fire team. If you're running 2 weapons, each weapon will get 37.5% shared affinity. And if you just run 1 weapon, it's gonna get a fat 75% shared affinity bonus. So if you're planning on leveling up just a single weapon, it's important to remove your other 2 weapons, because even though they're max rank, they'll still take that affinity gain bonus from the shared affinity away from that 1 weapon that you're trying to max out. Alright, before we hit the grind spots, let's talk about making your XP gains even juicier. So first, let's talk about affinity boosters. To double all your XP, and sometimes they're free during events or otherwise, it's worth picking up if you're grinding hard and you have some extra platinum to spare. And next, let's talk about Affinity Blessings. So let's head on over to any relay in the star chart, and be sure to use the relay chat to ask your fellow Tenno for that affinity blessing. It'll give you a 25% affinity boost for 3 hours, and be sure to thank those Tennos. So next, let's go ahead and talk about something that not a lot of Warframe players seem to know about. So let's head on over to Cetus and fast travel to Nakak, the mask vendor. So what a lot of people don't know about Nakak is that they sell 2 different types of flares, Phosphor Blau and Phosphor Rod. These are consumables that increase your affinity radius so you don't miss out on that squad shared affinity. They are super helpful, especially for those missions where your teammates will just not stay close to you. It'll help increase that range to make sure that they're always within your shared affinity range. Another way to extend your affinity range is by using the Vazarin focus tree, specifically the ability Mending Unity, which also boosts affinity range. More range equals more free XP raining down on your weapons. The first method we're going to be talking about is Sanctuary Onslaught and Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. It's basically Warframe's wave game mode where there's tons of enemies, fast spawns, explosions everywhere, and especially if you've got a nuker like Saren, your weapons will hit rank 30 before you even finish your coffee. It's fast, chaotic, efficient, and probably the best raw affinity farm out there. To show you this, I did 4 different runs, 2 with an affinity booster and 2 without an affinity booster. I also did 2 extra runs to show off that 75% shared affinity bonus that you get from your squad. Alright, now before I show you guys the clips, it's important to know that you can also use a Smita Kavat equipped with the Charm mod to also give you an affinity bonus throughout the mission. Alright, so for our first run, we ran a Sanctuary Onslaught with no affinity booster, which ended up taking us 19 minutes and 26 seconds. Mind you, this was with a few host migrations due to our squad leaving mid-mission. So you can definitely get a faster time with the full squad staying for the entire run. For our second run, we did Elite Sanctuary Onslaught without an affinity booster, and this time we got 16 minutes and 43 seconds. For our third run, we did a normal Sanctuary Onslaught with an affinity booster, and this time I was able to manage to get 12 minutes and 4 seconds with only 1 person leaving. And finally, for our fourth run, I managed to get the best time out of all of them, which was 6 minutes and 7 seconds. with an affinity booster and with all of the weapons equipped. Alright, so for our first extra run, we went into Elite Sanctuary Onslaught with no affinity booster, with only one weapon, and our time was 6 minutes and 1 second. For our second extra run, we went into Elite Sanctuary Onslaught with only one weapon and with an affinity booster, and our best time was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The second method we're going to be talking about is old reliable defense missions, specifically Hydron on Sedna and Helene on Saturn. So for Hydron, we did 2 runs, one with an affinity booster and one without. So for our first Hydron run with no affinity booster, our time was 15 minutes and 20 seconds. And for our second run with an affinity booster, our time was 10 minutes and 40 seconds. And finally, for our final method, we're going to be talking about Relic Fissures, one of my personal favorites. Sure, they're not the fastest for leveling, but you're multitasking and you're ranking up your gear and cracking relics at the same time. That means prime parts, ducats, and it's like shopping at Costco. You didn't come for 10 pounds of frozen waffles, but hey, you're getting more value while you're here. Alright, so we did the same thing we did with Hydron. We did 2 runs, one with affinity booster and one without. You already know the drill. So for our first relic run, we did run into a bug. While I was upgrading my relic, the match started and it froze me in the please wait screen, so I couldn't place my last relic. But my squad mate was also with me leveling up their weapons. So with the help of our squad mate, we got the time, which was 17 minutes and 27 seconds. For our second relic run with an affinity booster, we got the time of 12 minutes and 24 seconds. Alright, so there you have it. Now you know affinity splits, boosts, blessings, and consumables. Now pick your grind spot, whether you're frying enemies in Sanctuary Onslaught, vibing in Hydron, or double dipping with Relic Fissures, you'll be maxing weapons in no time. And remember, affinity is like pizza. It's better when shared, way better with extra toppings like boosters, and absolutely A tier when someone blesses the squad. If this video helped, smash that like button, subscribe for more Warframe content, and tell me in the comments your go-to leveling method. Until next time, keep grinding. Peace.